The Hanging Gardens of Babylon. The very name evokes images of cascading plants, vibrant greenery, and an oasis in the middle of the desert, towering high above ancient Babylon's walls. For centuries, the legend of the Hanging Gardens has enchanted historians, travelers, and archaeologists alike. Despite endless fascination, these legendary gardens remain shrouded in mystery. Were they real or merely a tale of wonder? Who created them, and what purpose did they serve? Let us journey back in time, explore the origins of these fabled gardens, and examine the clues that hint at their existence. Imagine ancient Babylon, a city of grandeur located near the Euphrates River in what is now modern-day Iraq. It was once the jewel of Mesopotamia and a thriving hub of culture, commerce, and architecture. This city, one of the most advanced of its time, boasted innovations in mathematics, astronomy, and engineering. But the most remarkable and mystical of Babylon's creations is said to be the Hanging Gardens, a paradise on earth, defying the natural arid landscape. The earliest mentions of the Hanging Gardens come from ancient Greek historians who documented the wonders of the world. Diodorus Siculus, Strabo, and Philo of Byzantium all described a massive tiered garden that seemingly hung in the air, supported by columns and terraces. These accounts, written centuries after the gardens were supposedly built, painted a picture of a lush, multi-layered green wonderland. But with the absence of Babylonian records confirming the gardens, historians have long wondered if these accounts were based on observation, hearsay, or perhaps the vivid imaginations of Greek storytellers. According to the most popular legend, the Hanging Gardens were created by King Nebuchadnezzar's coup around 600 BCE. Nebuchadnezzar is one of the most well-known rulers of Babylon, and his accomplishments are numerous. He transformed Babylon into a city of splendid architecture, with walls and buildings that seem to touch the sky. He is also known for his military conquests and the construction of the majestic Ishtar Gate. The story of the gardens, however, adds a humanizing element to his legacy. Legend has it that Nebuchadnezzar built the Hanging Gardens as a gift to his wife, Queen Amytis of Media. Amytis, who was originally from the lush mountainous region of Persia, felt homesick in the flat, arid landscape of Babylon. Moved by her longing for her homeland, Nebuchadnezzar ordered the construction of the gardens to recreate the greenery and beauty she missed so dearly. This touching story of love and devotion adds an emotional depth to the otherwise harsh image of a warrior king. It is easy to envision Nebuchadnezzar, a ruler with nearly boundless power, creating a masterpiece of engineering just to make his queen happy. This romantic tale has endured through the ages, but historians and archaeologists have found little concrete evidence to support it. The gardens, as described by ancient texts, would have required an advanced understanding of irrigation and engineering. Ancient writers described a massive structure with terraces reaching heights of up to 75 feet. Trees, flowers, and shrubs would have grown on each level, forming a green mountain amidst the desert. To maintain this lushness, an enormous amount of water would have been needed daily, transported from the Euphrates River. Some accounts claim that the gardens even had a system of irrigation that raised water from the river to the highest terraces, an extraordinary feat for that time. This impressive irrigation system would have likely used a chain pump, a technology that could lift water to significant heights using a chain of buckets or pots on a continuous loop. The system was driven by workers or animals, which would have required immense labor and resources. To keep the gardens lush in the dry climate of Babylon, this system would have needed to function constantly. This detail alone leads many to believe that the Hanging Gardens were one of the greatest engineering achievements of the ancient world. Despite the beauty of this tale, no Babylonian or Mesopotamian texts mention the Hanging Gardens. This absence is perplexing, given Babylon's rich documentation of its architecture, achievements, and cultural life. The Babylonians meticulously recorded their advancements, and Nebuchadnezzar himself had many of his accomplishments inscribed on clay tablets. The lack of Babylonian records about the Hanging Gardens has led some scholars to question whether they existed at all. This gap in the historical record has given rise to various theories. Some believe that the gardens were not built in Babylon at all, but in Nineveh, the capital of the Assyrian Empire, located further to the north. This theory gained traction in the late 20th century when archaeologist Stephanie Daly proposed that the Hanging Gardens might have been built by the Assyrian king Sennacherib around 700 BC. Sennacherib was known for his impressive gardens and irrigation projects in Nineveh, and ancient texts from his reign describe a garden that sounds remarkably similar to the Hanging Gardens described by Greek historians. Daly's theory suggests that over time, the story of Sennacherib's gardens was mistakenly attributed to Babylon and Nebuchadnezzar. This misattribution might have occurred as the Greeks spread stories of Mesopotamia, blending details from various sources into a single legend. Daly also uncovered inscriptions from Sennacherib's reign that described a palace surrounded by lush gardens with an elaborate irrigation system that transported water from the nearby mountains. These gardens were known to be the most beautiful in Assyria, and the technology used in their construction matches the descriptions of the Hanging Gardens. If Daly's theory is correct, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon were not actually located in Babylon at all, but in Nineveh. However, this hypothesis remains speculative, as no physical evidence of the gardens has been uncovered in Nineveh either. Furthermore, the ancient Greek writers who described the gardens placed them explicitly in Babylon, suggesting that even if the stories were based on Assyrian gardens, they had by that time become synonymous with Babylon's grandeur. The ongoing debate about the gardens' location and existence leads us to another key question. Why were the Hanging Gardens included among the 7 wonders of the ancient world? The 7 wonders list is thought to have originated in the Hellenistic period, compiled by Greek writers who traveled across the known world, marveling at extraordinary human achievements. For the Greeks, Babylon was a land of myth and grandeur, and they were captivated by tales of its splendor. Whether or not they personally saw the gardens, the idea of an oasis in the desert, a place of towering greenery, appealed to their imagination. The Greeks valued feats that combined beauty and technical prowess. The Hanging Gardens, whether real or imagined, exemplified this blend of art and science, and thus were a fitting addition to the 7 wonders. The Greeks were likely impressed by the engineering required to create such an artificial paradise, one that defied the natural environment. Their fascination speaks to the timeless allure of nature overcoming harsh landscapes, a feat that would inspire both awe and envy. Though no physical remains of the Hanging Gardens have been found in Babylon, excavations have uncovered other impressive structures that reveal the city's splendor. One of these is the Ishtar Gate, an enormous structure adorned with vibrant blue tiles and depictions of animals, symbolizing Babylon's power. The discovery of the Ishtar Gate and the extensive walls of Babylon provides a glimpse of the city's majesty. These structures, meticulously planned and executed, suggest that the Babylonians were certainly capable of architectural wonders. The absence of concrete evidence for the Hanging Gardens has led some scholars to question the credibility of ancient sources. The Greek accounts, after all, were written centuries after the time of Nebuchadnezzar. Were the writers merely repeating stories they had heard from travelers without first-hand knowledge of the gardens? Or could it be that the gardens existed but were destroyed, either by natural disasters or by the relentless march of time? The Euphrates River, which once flowed near Babylon, has changed its course over the centuries, and this shift could have eroded or buried any remnants of the gardens. Another theory posits that the gardens, if they did exist, may not have been as large or as grand as the Greek accounts suggest. Instead of a massive towering structure, they could have been a smaller, more modest garden attached to the palace, later exaggerated by storytellers. This theory aligns with the known tendency of ancient writers to embellish their tales, creating legends that would captivate and inspire future generations. The mystery of the Hanging Gardens endures, as does the fascination they inspire. To this day, historians, archaeologists, and even engineers study the ancient descriptions, hoping to glean insights into this lost wonder. Some researchers have suggested using modern technology, such as ground-penetrating radar, to explore areas around Babylon that may hold hidden remnants of the gardens. Others continue to study ancient texts, hoping to uncover a forgotten reference that might confirm the garden's existence. Regardless of whether the Hanging Gardens were real or mythical, their story has left an indelible mark on human imagination. They remind us of our desire to create beauty, even in the harshest environments. They speak to our fascination with blending nature and human ingenuity, creating spaces that defy limitations. And they serve as a testament to the enduring allure of lost worlds and the mystery of ancient civilizations. If the Hanging Gardens were indeed real, they would have been a marvel of engineering, rivaling the great achievements of the ancient world. They would have required careful planning, innovative technology, and an immense workforce, all to create a place of beauty in the desert. The gardens would have been an embodiment of Babylon's power, a demonstration that even the forces of nature could be harnessed and controlled. Yet, if they were merely a myth, the Hanging Gardens still hold value as a symbol of humanity's love for beauty and our longing for paradise. They represent the human desire to transcend nature, to build something lasting and extraordinary. The story of the Hanging Gardens reflects the values of an ancient world that cherished wonders, celebrated ingenuity, and found inspiration in the harmony of nature and architecture. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon may remain an unsolved mystery, but in many ways they continue to exist within the realm of imagination, history, and legend. As long as we tell their story, the gardens live on, inspiring those who dream of creating beauty, even in the most unlikely places. Whether they once stood in Babylon, Nineveh, or only in the minds of storytellers, the Hanging Gardens remind us that some wonders exist beyond physical form, carried forward by the stories we tell and the mysteries we seek to uncover. In this way, the Hanging Gardens are timeless, a wonder that transcends reality, living on as a symbol of human aspiration and the beauty we strive to create in the world around us. Thank you for listening to this topic. Please leave a comment if you enjoyed this video and might as well subscribe while you're down there.